Well, hello everyone and welcome to COSC121, Introduction to Programming, as the slide says. I'm Richard Lobb, your supervisor for this particular instance of the course. I think we've got a great course and I really hope you enjoy it. Just to quickly run through the people involved, there's two people who are making videos. We call them lecturers in some sense of the word, and they are Andy Coburn and myself. Andy is the supervisor for the first semester version of the course, and you'll see him on video. He's not otherwise involved in the course though, so we'd rather you didn't try and contact him directly. I'm the one you should contact for the S2 version of the course. Other staff involved are Yeleni Sundralingam, who looks after our superb lab tutor team, Paul McEwen, who looks after the assignments and to some extent the labs, and Liam Lang, who is your main contact person for the labs. And as I say, welcome aboard. Would you like to be part of the team? You could be a class rep. This could be your first faltering footsteps on a path of political glory. If you think you might be interested in attending staff meetings to talk about all the wonderful things that happen in the course, or possibly the other way around, talk about the things you don't like in the course, this could be your opportunity. If you're interested, please email me. That's this address here, richard.lobb@canterbury.ac.nz. And if you're one of the first 2 or 3 in, then I'll give you the go-ahead and you can register at that address on the Student Union website. One of the main things, or the exciting things about this course, is that there are no lectures, or at least there's only one in the first week. This is a difference from most ordinary courses around this university. So lectures are great in a lot of contexts, but they're not good in a course like COSC121, which is a skill-based or practice-oriented programming course. Think of trying to learn to ride a unicycle, learning to run a marathon, learning to play soccer, whatever else, various sports. You're talking about something that is learnt by actually doing it rather than listening to someone else talking about it. And another key attribute of COSC121 and programming in general is that people have very different paces at which they learn this material. So an ordinary lecture can cause problems because the lecturer is going either too fast or too slow for the majority of the class. And another aspect is that you're needing to review, revise, pick up stuff you missed out during lectures, so it's nice to have videos and go back and review them. And of course, we all have limited attention spans, and sitting there for 50 minutes in a lecture is often somewhat greater than our attention span. So that's why we've moved to videos. So these are shortish videos. Typically we try to keep them less than 10 minutes, the odd ones a bit more than that. And you watch them in your own time, as often as you want, and as fast as you want. So one of the key ideas is that if you understand the material very well, you can speed up the video and go a bit faster. We introduced these videos instead of lectures for the first time last year, 2018, and students were very, very positive. One of the most positive feedbacks, if that's the word, that I recall receiving in all my many years of teaching. However, if you want to actually talk to us in person, then there are at least a couple of ways you can do it. If you want to talk to the lecturers, that's me in this particular semester, then there's an optional weekly clinic from week 2 onwards, and you can come along there and ask questions personally, or you can hear a little bit about some extra tutorial material that I will usually introduce. And I'll also be down in the labs, and so you come to our labs, and of course the lab tutors are in the lab as well. So you get to meet more than one face, not just mine. A little bit of a few warnings about videos, I guess. Don't procrastinate. One of these, you're at university now, this is not school, you don't have people breathing down your neck telling you to do everything. You have to do things with a little bit of time management yourself. So do try to schedule yourself time to watch the videos before each lab. Sitting there in the lab with a limited amount of time, watching videos is just a waste of lab time. So try to watch them before the lab. Many of you will think you know the content of this course, and you undoubtedly will know some of it in that case, but you probably don't know it all. And it's a good idea to watch each video. You can always watch them at 1.5 or twice speed if you think the material's familiar, and then slow down if you come across something that you didn't know. And a very strong suggestion to all of you, please do try to play along with the videos. That is, watch them on a machine where you have your own computing environment available, and type the same code that we're demonstrating into the computer and run it yourself. This is hugely reinforcing. It's one thing to watch somebody else do it. It's so much more meaningful when you do it yourself. And of course, you can pause and back up the video if you don't understand stuff. I said that the videos were very popular when we introduced them last year. Here's the feedback from 2019 S1, just to give you some idea. So there's over 80% of the class, that's those two bars there, think they're either excellent or very good. There's a small group here in the middle who don't care much one way or the other, and there's a 12% group who didn't like them to some extent. So these people here preferred the lecture approach, or they thought they did. I haven't actually seen COSC121 lectures, of course. And then there's a very small group of about 3% who really actively disliked our video approach. So by and large, over 80%, 82% in fact, thinking videos were a really good approach. So we're very pleased with that, and I hope you enjoy them too. As to physically where you get to meet real people and do real stuff. In week 1, there's a mandatory lecture, which many of you will probably have seen already, been to already, and that is where we introduce the course and cover a lot of the material that's in these first 2 videos as well. From week 2 onwards, we have an optional clinic, so-called, every week. This is where you can come along and ask questions of the lecturer directly. That's me. And the most important thing of all in the whole lab, this is where, in the whole course I should say, which is where most of the learning takes place, is in the laboratories. You learn programming by doing it, not by watching other people talk about it. So the laboratories, or the lab area, is Lab 2, also known as the Jack Erskine Room 133. That's on the ground floor of the Jack Erskine building. During week 1 or 2, when there's a lot of demand, we will overflow into Lab 3, which is the adjacent room, Room 134. You can find out more details in my timetable, which is where you'll see which particular lab session you've been scheduled to. However, it's worth noting that if you're a struggling student and you need more help than is available in the 1 2-hour lab session, you are welcome to come to any of the other lab sessions for COSC121. They're all timetabled in the main university web pages for COSC121. Just type COSC121 into Google and it'll take you to the right place. Notice that labs start in week 1, the first week of the course. It's most important that you come to that first week. There is a textbook for the course. It's called Practical Programming. It's now available in the 3rd edition. You don't want to get the 1st edition if you can help it, but you may be able to pick up second-hand copies of earlier editions. We recommend this, but we don't require it by any means. And to be honest, it's not used by the majority of the students in the course, but it is very helpful for people who want a little bit more material, a different view of things, a way to revise, a few more exercises than are available in our labs, for example. Our course was originally built around this textbook quite a few years ago when it was in edition 1, teaching Python 2, but the textbook and our course have evolved somewhat differently, so it's not quite as relevant as it was initially, but it's still a good textbook. And there's some other resources you should know about, and in fact I encourage you to pause the video and follow a couple of these links to see what they're on about. So this first one is an interactive textbook, which is quite fun. It's called How to Think Like a Computer Scientist, the interactive edition, and if you go there you'll discover that you can experiment with the code in the textbook context, click on little arrows to run the code, and so on. Another really important link, and we'll be demonstrating this at various times in the videos, is the Python tutor, an online tutor. This is great for visualizing the execution of a program step by step. Shows you little pictures of what's going on. You can go forwards and you can even go backwards, which is sort of unique in programming, and just see exactly what's going on. Strongly encourage you to practice with that too. Notice there's a special option here, render all objects on the heap, if you want to make the pictures that are shown in this website look like the ones that we will show you in lectures. And if you're already a programmer in some other language other than Python, maybe Java, JavaScript, whatever, you could have a look through this Python tutorial. That's the link there. And that's all I was going to cover in this lecture. In my next lecture, I want to talk about a little bit more about COSC121, and in particular, what's necessary to succeed in it and why it's not like other courses that you've done. It's quite important that you do watch this next video because I want to emphasize the important differences from most university courses. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.